Hello beautiful people, welcome back. ETA back with another video for you. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do that. Give me a like and let's get into today's video. It's titled 5 Things America Could Learn from Denmark. This is from Rob Trotton. Honestly, I'm curious, what could America probably learn from Denmark, as they have a very advanced country? But yeah, we're going to find out from this video. No knowledge is wasted and nobody is an island, so definitely, of course, America can learn a thing or two from Denmark. Let's just get straight into this one.
I have to say, I think we are so lucky because we have been able to really learn about the best things about living in Denmark while also knowing a lot of the best things about living in the US. And in this video, we want to combine them both by talking about 5 things that the US could improve on from Denmark. So these are things that we've learned about in Denmark that we think would improve the lot of the United States.
Yeah. First one is work-life balance. Now, Denmark is renowned for its concept of work-life balance. We have shorter work weeks here in Denmark. It's 37 and a half hours as opposed to 40 hours typically in the US. More generous vacation policies. In Denmark, you get 5 weeks holiday, whereas in the US, it's dependent on your employer. So this is something that we certainly could improve, and we're seeing improvements on, especially after COVID in the US. But this work-life balance concept is going to be something that definitely the States could learn from Denmark.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits in promoting a healthier work-life balance in the US. It really alleviates burnout. I think the idea that Denmark has on the ability to go out on stress. So if you are reaching a burnout level where you can leave work almost like a disability leave, I think that's something that really would benefit things in the US and just not only make the workplace better, but the economy stronger. And it's something that they could certainly learn from Denmark. Another thing that really would benefit the United States by picking up from Denmark is the sustainable living that occurs here. Denmark has great environmental policies and an emphasis on...
Okay, so one, we have work-life balance. America can learn that the system in Denmark, because it's better than theirs, based on this video.
Sustainability, not just from the government level and where the government invests, subsidizes, and innovates, but in sort of a socially conscious societal level. I think the US could really enhance a lot of these things that Denmark does almost as second nature.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, kind of this thought about sustainability and the like is politicized in the US, like so many different things, whereas in Denmark it's just a common virtue, and it's something that's just kind of thought about as you do things, that you're going to live your life, you're going to fly on planes, you're going to consume things, but you're going to do it with a responsible mindset. And also the investments, you look at how Denmark is very much investing in things like wind power, trying to be a world leader in this. These are energy investments that are going to help for the long term, both for Denmark and the world as a whole.
Yeah, especially economically. And we see a little bit of this happening in the US with investment in some of these things, but Denmark tends to lead the way. And even now, only because of the economic incentive, I think the US is catching up to somewhere that they should be leading the way. Another one is something that I see a lot, especially kind of speaking of government, is something that Denmark does really well. I would love to see the US kind of pick up and run with, is that a lot of government agencies are positioned outside of the capital. I think it's really smart for Denmark to do. I think there's a lot of, there's still like a bit of this chip on the shoulder in other parts of Denmark, that a lot of focus is always on Copenhagen and the capital region. I think that exists in every country though. That's always going to be the case with Washington, D.C. in the US. But one thing Denmark has done really well is moved certain government agencies outside of the capital.
Yeah, and that's
Oh, so now that they've moved certain agencies to other parts of the country, like the whole attention is just not on Copenhagen, just one place, which is very common in most countries. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Other programs focusing on having various educational programs being outside of Copenhagen, trying to make sure that the whole country can be able to grow together rather than becoming fully reliant on the capital city. I think it's a challenge, obviously, in the politics of the US, where you start to see a huge divide between the successful creative cities and some of the areas that are left behind. A lot of active work has been done to try to avoid that here.
Yeah, so it makes sense to have something like the Department of Agriculture based in
Iowa? Yeah.
So, somewhere where they grow things, not Washington D.C. Or the Department of the Interior, like alongside one of the famous national parks. I think it would make sense, and it would also give everybody in the U.S. a bit of ownership for the government, rather than thinking that it's just something in Washington D.C. and it's them versus us.
Another thing that the U.S. can learn from Denmark is cycling infrastructure. And I can say this personally because when I lived in Philadelphia, I actually commuted to work by bike, and it was kind of dangerous. I think the U.S. can definitely learn from the extensive and safe cycling mindset that we have here in Denmark. The infrastructure is there so that you can safely cycle almost anywhere in the city and the country. I know people that go to work well out into the suburbs, and they take a bike to get there as well, which is something that you definitely can't do in the States. I know in Philadelphia there were certain bike lanes on certain streets, but it wasn't all of them, and half the time the bike lanes turned into parking spaces. People would just put their cars in there as well that you went around. You would never see that here in Denmark because they literally have the bike lanes curbed and separate from the streets. It's fantastic.
Honestly, these countries, these European countries can be very organized. They are so orderly. Like, the bike lanes will always remain bike lanes no matter what. And I like that about them.
Yeah, otherwise it would just be covered by Uber drivers waiting to pick you up, or an Amazon delivery truck pulling into the bike lane, forcing you to bike into traffic on your way to work. So I think that it's definitely something I would love to see. I feel like biking in the US is almost like something that's just for kids, right? Like, it's not even looked at as like, yeah, you need a grown-up bike. You can bike to work. You can bike to wherever you have to go. Like, it's just something that's sort of ingrained in society here that I really do enjoy. It doesn't mean that you have to give up your car either. It just means that you can have it as a supplement to public transportation or driving somewhere. Another aspect of Danish society that I love to see the US kind of jump onto is the education system. Now, of course, we're probably going to say that, higher education up to a master's degree is
I knew there was no way this education system was not going to be part of this, because these Nordic countries, their education system is just superb. Like, every country would envy that, honestly.
Included in the public education system in Denmark. So having the ability to earn a university degree and not just a high school diploma as part of your public education is a really great thing for Denmark. And I think it's something that we could find a way to accomplish in the United States as well.
Yeah, and when we talk about education, it includes early age education as well, as daycare is subsidized in Denmark. So the expectation is that essentially once the parental leave is done and the kid is about 1 year old or so, they're going to go into the vuggestue and then to the barnhome and then to the kindergarten. You're going to be in some sort of structured education program from a very, very young age here in Denmark. And this is also a stressor for a lot of people in the US, which is, how do I have a 2 working parent household and have kids and be able to afford that, because childcare is so expensive. So that mindset of investing in education from a very, very young age, and also the benefit too, if you're an adult, you may have taken a university education in something and changed your mind mid-career. In Denmark, that's, I'd almost say, encouraged that you can go do that. We have plenty of friends that have gone back to school in the middle of a career to do a shift in there. So it's positive to make sure that people can be able to get the high quality education to be able to contribute to society with what they want to do. It's a great way to be.
Yeah, so from early education all the way through higher education, it's just something that is looked at as fundamental to the economic goals of the country, rather than something that is heavily politicized like it is in the US. And I hate seeing the US go down that path. I really think we could learn from the Danish approach to education here. Overall, I think, we just have to say we're really appreciative of the ways that we've been able to adapt some of these things into our lifestyles while living here, even though we hold on to a lot of things from the US that we love. But if you want to hear more about the things that we've adapted our lifestyle to while living in Denmark, you can click this video right here to find out more ways that our lifestyle has changed.
Okay, so that was it for the video, guys. And honestly, yes, the US definitely has it. Like, they're up there in the game, no doubt, but there are just certain things in other places that it would be nice if they incorporated into their own system, like the educational system in Denmark, the infrastructure, like just certain things, just little here and there. Nothing too deep. The US will always be up there, yeah, agreed, but you can just always learn a thing or two from other places as well. Let me know if you think this video was helpful in any way. If you don't agree, also let me know in the comments. Recommend more videos to me. Give me a like if you enjoyed this one. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.